All right, everybody, welcome back. We are diving deep today into something I think we've all come across
Mhm.
at one point or another in our lives, and that is manipulative people.
Yeah.
And get this, the source we're looking at today says there's like an actual pattern to the way they behave.
Mhm.
And like once you see it,
Right.
it's almost like a superpower,
Right.
you know?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Like you can protect yourself so much better once you start seeing this pattern.
Right.
I have to admit, I was a little skeptical at first.
Yeah.
But the way this source breaks it down, it's honestly kind of mind-blowing
Yeah.
how simple it can be to spot these tactics they're using.
It's not just about spotting the tactics. It's
Mhm.
about really understanding what's at the core of what makes someone a manipulator.
Oh, interesting.
The source really gets into that and explains that these people are almost like illusionists.
Ah.
Illusionists of reality. They twist things, ever so slightly.
Yep.
At first, so you start to question your own perceptions.
Oh, wow.
You wonder if you're overreacting or if you're being too sensitive.
Right.
And that's how they gain the upper hand.
That is so sneaky.
Yeah.
It's not like they're walking around, in a villain costume, twirling their mustache.
Right, exactly.
Letting you know that they're about to manipulate you.
Exactly.
This source is making me realize how easily it can just creep into everyday situations.
Right.
They even talk about how a lot of times these relationships actually start
Yeah.
with building trust.
Exactly.
So you're completely blindsided when the manipulation starts.
Yeah, you're totally disarmed.
Yeah.
And that's why it's so crucial to grasp these concepts early on.
Okay.
Think of it like this. If you know the signs of a disease, you can catch it
Right.
in the early stages, and that increases your chances of recovery.
For sure.
Same goes for dealing with manipulative people.
Well,
Recognizing those subtle warning signs
okay.
in your relationships, whether they're personal or professional,
Right.
can be a total game changer.
I'm already seeing how this is relevant to, well, everyone really.
Yeah.
But let's get specific.
Okay.
The source mentions some specific techniques manipulators use.
Mm-hmm.
Things like gaslighting,
Uh-huh.
emotional manipulation, victimization.
Right.
I have to admit I've heard these terms thrown around,
Yeah.
but I'm not always sure what they actually mean, in practice.
Well, yeah, you're not alone. A lot of people get those terms mixed up.
Okay.
Like take gaslighting, for instance.
Right.
Imagine you tell your partner that you felt hurt by something they said.
Okay.
A gaslighter might respond with something like,
Yeah.
"You're imagining things."
Oh, wow.
Or, "I never said that, you must be remembering it wrong."
Gosh.
They're twisting the situation, making you doubt your own memory and feelings. It's so insidious.
Ugh, that's awful.
Yeah.
What about emotional manipulation? How does that usually play out?
Emotional manipulation often relies on guilt trips.
Okay.
It's that classic line, "If you really loved me, you would."
Oh, yeah.
Or they might play the victim, constantly putting the blame on you for their own problems.
Oh, gosh.
They might even resort to threats,
Mm.
veiled or direct, to get their way.
Right.
The key here is that they're using your emotions as leverage to control the situation.
Okay, so this is all pretty alarming, but the good news is our source offers solutions too.
Yeah.
They outline 3 key strategies to avoid falling into these traps.
Okay.
Setting boundaries,
Yeah.
building self-esteem, and resisting those guilt or fear tactics.
Right.
I love that it's not just about passively recognizing the manipulation.
Yeah.
It's about actually giving yourself the tools to fight back.
Absolutely. It's about empowering yourself.
Yes.
Now, setting boundaries might sound obvious,
Right.
but it's often harder than it seems.
Yeah.
The source makes the point that it's all about establishing a clear line.
Okay.
You're communicating what you will and won't tolerate.
Right.
It doesn't have to be confrontational.
Yeah.
Sometimes a simple, "No thank you,"
Right.
or "I'm not comfortable with that," is enough.
Yeah.
What's important is that you stick to your gun.
They had a great example in the source.
Yeah.
Let's say a friend keeps asking to borrow money,
Uh-huh.
and you've already said no several times.
Okay.
A manipulator might try to guilt you by saying something like,
Right.
I'm really struggling right now, or
Oh,
I
yeah.
thought you were my friend.
Oh, gosh.
But holding firm to that boundary, even if it's uncomfortable,
Right?
sends a really powerful message.
Yeah.
It shows them that you value yourself and your own needs.
Exactly. Which leads perfectly into the next point, self-esteem.
Yeah.
Manipulators will often prey on people who lack confidence
Right.
because they're more easily swayed.
Makes sense.
But when you invest in yourself,
Yeah.
recognize your own worth, and trust your gut instincts,
Okay.
those manipulation tactics become a lot less effective.
That's so important. The source made a great point.
Yeah.
It's okay to disagree with people,
Right.
to have your own opinions, and make decisions that feel right for you,
Right.
without needing someone else's approval.
Yes.
That sense of self-assurance can really throw a wrench in a manipulator's plans.
Now, that last strategy, resisting guilt and fear, it can be the toughest one
Oh yeah, I bet.
because manipulators, they are masters
For sure.
at weaponizing those emotions.
Makes sense.
But the source encourages us to just pause
Okay.
when we feel that surge of guilt or fear in a
Yeah.
relationship and just ask yourself,
Right.
is this feeling legitimate or is this being used against me?
Whoa.
Just being aware of that tactic
Right.
can be incredibly helpful in diffusing its power.
So thinking back to what we talked about earlier,
Yeah.
about how manipulators sort of distort reality,
Right.
this makes total sense.
Uh-huh.
It's like they're trying to create these false narratives
Yes.
where you're always the one at fault,
Yeah.
or where you owe them something.
Exactly.
And recognizing that is the first step to breaking free.
Precisely. And what's so empowering about these three strategies is that they all reinforce your autonomy.
I love that.
You're taking back control of your emotions, your decisions,
Right.
and ultimately your life.
To wrap things up, it seems like the big takeaway here is that manipulation, while sneaky,
Yeah.
often follows a pattern.
A pattern.
And once you understand that pattern,
Yeah.
you're in a much stronger position to protect yourself.
Yes.
But it goes beyond just recognizing the signs, right?
It does.
It's about actively building up those internal defenses,
right.
setting those boundaries, boosting your self-esteem,
Yeah.
refusing to be controlled by guilt or fear.
You got it.
So to leave everyone with something to ponder today,
Okay.
which of these three strategies resonated most strongly with you? And what personal boundaries could you strengthen in your own life
Yeah.
to better safeguard yourself against potential manipulation?
It's something worth thinking about.
For sure.
Absolutely.
All right, everyone. Thanks for tuning in to this deep dive, and we'll see you next time.
See you later.